Hello and welcome to the Deck Box, everybody. Today I'm doing just a quick video. It's a tips and trick video for beginners on how to make their own decks, and just a couple little tips that will make your decks just that much better. So I'm going to talk about three things in this video. I'm first going to talk about limit. Limit yourself, limit the amount of cards in your deck. Now, many times I've heard newer players asking, how many cards do I need for a standard deck? And I always hear the answer from one of the older, more experienced players. 60. You need at least 60 cards in your deck. And I always hear that, at least 60 cards, and it always makes these new players feel like, oh, well, I can throw in as many cards as I want. What I'm going to tell you is, please, for your sake, limit yourself. Look at it as if it's not a minimum, well, I have to have at least 60. Look at it like, I need to have 60. It's that easy. I feel like it's a little bit misleading for new players to say that you can have at least 60, because sure, it is important to know that it's not illegal in a tournament to have more than 60, however it is to have less, but it is a little misleading because it makes it seem like it's like a normal thing to do, when really almost every single deck has 60 cards, and it's for a very simple reason: consistency. So if you have, and I know I've touched on this before, but if you have one card in your deck, it's super consistent, isn't it? Every time you draw a card, it's going to be the same card. You're going to lose next turn because you're going to draw from an empty library, but the concept remains the same. The less cards you have, the more consistent the deck will be. So if you have a 60-card deck, it's more consistent. You're going to have the same things more often drawn than if you had an 80-card deck, or say a 100-card deck, which some of these new players have. So I'm going to say, when you're building your deck, limit yourself to 60 cards. Keep that as an actual number of cards that you should have in your deck, and you'll do a little better. The second thing I'm going to talk about is focus. Focus your deck. Something I hear a lot of times is, when I say, well, that card's not great, a new player will say, well, it comes in great in this one situation. It's like, well, yes, it will, but how often does that situation happen? And how often is that card just dead to you, right? Like, how often does that card not do the thing that you're trying to do, right? So what you want to do is you want to take, all these cards and make them do one thing, and one thing very well, instead of many things subpar, right? And something I had said to me by a player that I respect very much was, when he was explaining it to a new player, he said, if I was going to ask you to write an essay on history, would you take the history of the world, or would you make a good essay by talking about the history of one specific region? And that's sort of what we want to do with our decks. We want to make our deck do one thing, and one thing very well. And the last pointer that I'm going to give you in this video is about the choices of cards that you can put in your deck. So a lot of times you'll see new players crack packs, look at the cards that they get in the pack, see an awesome blue card, and go, well, I'm going to throw this into my deck with islands, which is great. I love the excitement there for sure, and I've been there myself, and it's a lot of fun. But as you start to get a little bit better at the game, what I'm going to urge you to do is take some time, do some research, go online, use Gatherer. I'll put a link to it right here. And you can go on that website, search up different types of cards, make sure you're in the right format, standard, or, if you're playing other formats, you can type in those other formats instead. And, find cards that are tailored to your deck. Find, the best card for your deck, and then seek those cards out. Trade for them, ask for them in your community, at FNM, or at other events that you go to. And, acquire those cards, and make play sets of those cards and put them into your deck. And you'll just have a better experience with your deck. It'll do more things that you wanted to do, and hopefully, while it's doing the things that you wanted to do, you'll feel like a bit of a master of the game, and you'll feel better about your playstyle, your deck, and you'll have more fun. So that's it, everybody, for today. Thanks a lot for watching the Deck Box, and as always, roll for choice, people. See ya.